Do you also desire that with merely a single click, you could instantaneously access your inner strength and effortlessly conquer all obstacles and challenges in life? The bad news is that, unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that. And what causes you to lack this inner strength or not trust yourself? And what you can specifically do to gradually develop your inner strength, that's what I'll address here. Very exciting topic. Stay tuned. I'm Riedel. I've been walking the shamanic path for nearly 20 years, initiated into the traditions of the Incas and the Blackfoot. Yes, and I would like to initially explore with you why you might be blocked or restricted by your fears. Once you grasp this, you can also enhance the leverage to activate your inner strength. Most individuals who approach me experience fears and blockages. Even if they possess the vision of life, they are frequently unable to overcome these obstacles because they have progressively permitted themselves to be consumed by their fears and blockages. And that is completely normal because we often have not learned any other way. In the past, I used to think, maybe you feel the same way, that a switch should just be flipped for me and I would be blessed with inner strength overnight, effortlessly overcoming all obstacles and challenges in life. And as I said, the bad news is that it will never happen like that. And anyone who believes that is falling victim to their own illusion. So I want to earnestly inquire of you at this moment, why are you all of a sudden accessing your inner strength in such a manner? If you do not alter all of your habits and ways of thinking, in other words, your complete life, then it will simply stay at wishing and hoping. And that is frequently the mechanism within all of us. However, the positive news is that you have the ability to develop this internal strength and self-assurance gradually over time. And for that, you need time and the willingness to learn to deal with yourself differently and even integrate new habits into your life. Yes, and why do so many people suffer from it? I would like to invite you to go back to childhood. When we are young, we start off as a blank sheet of paper and gradually absorb the truth around us. In the case of your parents, the gods who know everything, how you can survive and how the world works, whether it is dangerous, whether it is good for you, and you unconsciously adopt all these truths because your parents' survival strategy did work. And so you adapted exactly as your parents demonstrated. Now, also imagine how your parents, in this scenario, your mother or father, spoke to you. For example, you can't do that, you're not good enough, life is exhausting and hard. Or you always have to do what others expect from you. Then you are considered a good person. But even if they have not spoken directly to you, you could feel, you could perceive whether they have access to their inner strength and therefore also connected to living authentically on the outside, without insecurity or without fear of what others may think of them. And if that wasn't the case, then you have learned within yourself how to deal with yourself. Your inner critic has surfaced, consistently assessing and forming judgments about you. In that case, belittles you or makes you afraid, doesn't believe in you, and so on. Your inner critic may have been nourished over time, potentially leading it to partially or fully take over your life, even without your conscious awareness of it. And maybe, just maybe, you will then realize that you are also capable of more in your life, or possibly even destined for something greater. However, you are consistently in a state of vulnerability to this internal critic. That is the mechanism. And on the other hand, it may also be that in our childhood, we have often experienced difficult or traumatic events that have been so deeply ingrained that it seems impossible for you to change or to attain inner strength. Yes, and maybe you can still recall your childhood, when the world was never large enough and each day was an adventure, testing your abilities and limits, always pushing yourself further each day, constantly integrating new skills and striving to expand your horizons at every opportunity. Perhaps you can still remember learning to ride a bike where you were truly proud to have finally succeeded. That is the one when you have learned to overcome your limits, to be in growth every day. And then comes the opposite aspect. It is also possible that you have had an experience where you have exceeded your boundaries and where things went awry, where it didn't pan out, and you may have been hurt, or perhaps you made a fool of yourself and were laughed at or experienced other negative outcomes. Perhaps you then made a solemn vow to yourself that you never want to find yourself in such a situation again and commenced actively avoiding such situations. The apprehension of encountering something akin to that once again is then firmly established like a seed in your consciousness. And from a shamanic perspective, it may be that you still carry these unresolved situations within you and they cost you a tremendous amount of energy. Yes, and then you have learned not to look there and rather suppress them. Because it seems like the only right decision to avoid such situations and not to tell anyone about this inner weakness that you may also perceive in yourself and maybe even suppress it within yourself in order to protect yourself from potential judgment or vulnerability. This has created an unresolved wound, which we have not yet learned to resolve or discuss in a meaningful and constructive manner. Due to the fact that numerous individuals have been educated to exhibit strength, refrain from displaying weakness, or feign that all is perpetually well, demonstrating vulnerability and authentic emotions, particularly profound sentiments like fear, anger, sadness, hatred, envy, guilt, or shame, and effectively addressing them in a constructive manner, rarely truly materializes in our daily lives. And then it can happen that over the years, you have allowed yourself to be increasingly consumed by these blockages and fears. I have observed this in many clients and even in myself. And it is possible that every error and everything you have not achieved is magnified by this internal critic, who consistently minimizes you and guides your attention towards the reality that you are feeble, imperfect, not adequate, and so forth. And this is what you need to become aware of initially, so that you can then learn to treat yourself differently in the subsequent step. So, how do you manage to construct and develop your inner strength, your confidence in yourself? Yes, I have been exploring this question for almost 20 years and have found the answers, which have allowed me to change my life and that of my clients, towards a life where you can demonstrate yourself completely genuine and authentic and support yourself and your values, regardless of others' opinions of you. And by doing so, you gradually learn to free yourself. Yes, and what exactly have we done? The first step is to free yourself from these heavy energies and the heavy thought patterns associated with them that you carry within you, piece by piece, and dissolve them. And for me, the most effective technique is shamanic blockage resolution, which I consistently incorporate into my mentoring and also instruct in my shamanic online training. And for that, you require the willingness to be open and honest with yourself. That means being the person you are at this very moment, with all the weaknesses, with all the heavy issues that are currently active and affecting you. You don't have to pull yourself together and take on a role or play in that moment, but from now on, learn to be completely authentic. And when in these conversations and coaching sessions, these intense emotions arise, and you may even need to shed tears, you can have confidence in me, as I am used to being able to provide emotional support to individuals. Yes, and the subsequent step is to integrate new habits into your daily routine in order to gain a different perspective on yourself, so that your self-confidence is increased by 1% every single day. And already after 1 month, so after 30 days, you can calculate for yourself by what percentage your self-confidence and inner strength have grown. And this occurs almost imperceptibly daily. But over time, you make huge progress, and then you can handle yourself in a completely different manner. You are then also capable of reducing the volume of the inner doubter and amplifying the volume of confidence, trust, and self-love even more loudly and with greater intensity. And all of this requires time and trust in this process of change. And another crucial factor lies in the shamanic practice involving power animals, where the bear can demonstrate in a tangible manner the concept of harnessing one's strength, acquiring knowledge gradually, similar to the bear's independence from seeking approval, having the ability to establish its own domain or territory, and if needed, occasionally displaying its claws to assert itself or to develop the skill of setting firm and well-defined boundaries. And in my view, without these capabilities, it is not possible to construct internal power. To now come to the image with the bear, inner strength does not simply come from sitting around in its territory, but from facing rivals, adapting to new environmental conditions, marking its territory, standing in its full size, and also showing its strength. And it is the same with you. Each and every person faces challenges, tests, where you are frequently called upon to surpass yourself. So, in order to regularly step out of your comfort zone and constantly expand your universe, be proud of every small step of growth. Then you trust yourself more, and thus your inner strength grows as well, because it only emerges along the way, not beforehand, as many wish. And here I want to give you a valuable input again, that it's not about pretending this strength, which I myself thought over the years. I have to be strong now, be the bear. And the strength in pretending, that's like fighting against yourself. Due to the fact that the parts of you that still experience weakness, shame, or guilt, or simply have a feeling of not being good enough, are further suppressed or ignored. Allow me to provide you with an illustration. Each and every person possesses these different aspects of their personality. One of them can be the inner critic, whereas the other one may be feeling weak or not good enough, or perhaps experiencing sadness or a sense of melancholy. And on the other hand, there are also parts within you that are completely joyful, euphoric, believe in themselves, carry a vision within, and are more connected to the heart. And the secret is that you possess these personal aspects, but you are not them, because you are more than these aspects. You are the deciding authority that has guided you to watch this video, for instance, or to organize your life as you have successfully done up to this point. And this authoritative figure stands above all aspects of personality. Imagine yourself sitting around a fire while engaging in this activity. And around this fire, all the different aspects of personality are gathered. And you, with your sense of responsibility, are there too. You are essentially in charge, and you can decide whom to listen to. The fear, the doubt that it could go wrong, and that you also learn to listen to yourself calmly. Because these parts also have their justification and definitely have objections and considerations that may be listened to. And on the other hand, there are also these empowering aspects that believe in you, that are more connected to your heart and focus on joy in life, and so on. And now you can learn to take responsibility, to see and hear every part within you, and then gradually learn to treat yourself gently, and always imagine that you yourself are responsible and can decide which path to take in your life's journey, guided by your own inner wisdom and intuition. And all of your personality aspects are good advisors. But having bad masters or poor leadership skills would be described as you currently learning to take full responsibility with all of your inner parts and gradually developing the ability to become a better leader. Yes, those were my impulses on this topic. And if you like this video, please feel free to pass it along to others or share it with them. For more inspiration or insights into my daily routines, follow me on Instagram. Link is down below in description. Until next time, see you then. Ciao, goodbye.